Hello. Okay, so I was asked to do a problem, a time value problem that's a little more difficult. So I was looking at them. I don't know. I just picked one out that I thought might give some insight. So now once again, mine is the previous edition of the text, so the numbers might be different, but I guess the problem's probably going to be fairly similar. So let me read it. So Jan sold her house on December 31st and took a $10,000 mortgage as part of the payment. All right, so the buyer of the house took out a loan from Jan to buy the house, $10,000. According to that contract, the mortgage has a 10% APR, nominal interest rate, but it calls for semi-annual payments beginning next June 30th. Next year, Jan must report on Schedule B of her IRS form 1040 the amount of interest that was included in the two payments she received during that year. And so what it's asking for is, well, what's the dollar amount of each of the payments? That's going to be a clear-cut time value of money problem. It's an annuity, so we can deal with that. How much was included in the first pay? How much interest was included in the first payment? How much repayment of principal was included? How do these values change for the second payment? And then how much interest must she report on her Schedule B as interest income? So, and then there's one other one. If payments are constant, why does the amount of interest income change over time? Well, it's just amortization of the loan. So let's kind of walk through this. First thing would be to go in and calculate what the semi-annual payments are going to be. So I've done this. What I did is, I'll just show it to you here. You can see it. So I put in the amount of the mortgage contract as minus $10,000. I put in the interest rate as 10%, and then payments, well, there's 20 semi-annual periods in 10 years, so I put in 20 for number of periods, and then I had to change it to semi-annual in terms of how the calculation was done. And then I hit, well, what's the payment? And so the payment is $802.43. So that's her payment, or whoever the borrower is. So that's what they're going to pay Jan in 6 months. All right, so 6 months out, if she's got an APR of 9%, then how much interest will accrue? Well, half of 10% is 5%. So 5% of the original balance, which is $10,000, is $500. So her interest that she'll receive in 6 months is $500. So the principal amount paid would be the difference. So that's $302.43, which gives a balance at the end of 6 months due of $9,697.57. Okay. So on that December 31st payment of that year, the borrower still going to pay her $802.43. But now the interest is going to be calculated on the balance. And so at 5% of this amount means the interest due here is $484 $4.88. And of course that means the principal payment's going to be a little higher and the remaining balance a little lower, which is the answer to part D. You don't owe $10,000 through the whole time. It's a declining balance, which is why these numbers change over time. All right, but now how much interest does she have to report to the IRS? Well, it would be this total. So $984.88 would be the amount of interest that you would have to report to the IRS. So I hope that's helpful to you in terms of another problem out of the book that you can look at. Once again, it's important to just kind of pay attention to what they're, what you're being asked and what are the numbers that are being given. And I think you can begin to see there's a rhyme and reason to this as you go through some more of these problems. Well, that's one problem. Let me see if I can do maybe one more. So let me look here at, let's say the nominal interest rate in extending credit. It's my book. It's number 28, 528. As a jewelry store manager, you want to offer credit with an interest on outstanding balances paid monthly. To carry receivables, you must borrow funds from your bank at 6%. So you got to borrow at 6%. And that 6% is monthly compounding to offset your overhead. All right. You want to charge your customers an EAR, an effective annual rate, that's 2% more than the bank is charging you. What APR should you charge your customers? All right. So this one's, going to be a little convoluted. Now remember now, EAR would be simple compounding, right? I mean compounding just once over the year. And it's equal to 1 plus the APR divided by your number of compounding periods in the year to the teeth power minus 1. All right, so what do we know? Well, what's the EAR that the bank is charging you? Well, they're going to be charging you 6% monthly. So 0.06 divided by 12 and to the 12th power less 1. So if I solve this then, so I'm going to take 0.06, if I can get my calculator on. Oh, heck. So I would take 0.06 divided by 12 to the 12th power less 1, and that's going to give me 0.0617, or that's going to be 6.17% is the effective annual rate that the bank is charging me. Okay? So then it says, all right, if I want to get 2% more than that, then I would add 2% to that. So 8.17% would be the effective annual rate. And then to get to, let's see, what did it ask again? What APR should you charge your customers? Well, what I'd have to do is work back from that. So let me erase this. So I'd have 8 or 0.0817 would have to be equal to 1 plus my APR divided by 12 to the 12th power minus 1. So then I just continue to work backwards to get to this number, to solve for that particular number. So 1.0817 is equal to 1 plus APR over 12 to the 12th power. So if I get the 12th root of 1.0817, that's going to be equal to 1 plus APR over 12. So I'll have to get my calculator again. Let me go calculate that. So in solving the problem, really what you've got is 1.0817 to the 1/12th power. And that's going to be equal to 1 plus the APR divided by 12. So in order to do this, you just need a calculator that'll have that function 1 over 12. Mine will do it, but my calculator's on the blink, and so trying to make that calculation, I'm having trouble doing that right now. But hopefully this gives you a way to get to the answer of some of these problems. I doubt I do anything quite this complicated on the exam, just so you know. But have at it, continue to work at these problems, and hopefully that helps out a little bit.